Hello, hello, hello. This is Peter Pagliatti of Human Studios, and this is Making Comics in Art, episode 384. Happy Friday 13th. Hey, James.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good, good. Yeah, I'm gonna work on this piece today. So,
Uh,
every once in a while I do something to challenge myself, and this might end in disaster. But I was intrigued by a photo I saw, so I'm using reference on this kind of sorta.
cool.
Um, and I'm not going to ink this normally. I'm going to do a lot of thin cross hatching lines, hatching and cross hatching. Um, and so today I'm just going to figure some of that out in pencil.
That's
Um,
cool.
Yeah, so it might end as in disaster and be total crap, but I'll give it a shot.
That's cool. That's why I work on computer because nobody ever sees it. You know.
Yes, smash that like. If you're watching this with us, please, please do, and subscribe if you aren't already, and all that stuff. Um, so yeah, okay, so first question. You know me from DeviantArt.
Right.
Um, were you James Smith there?
I was James 34, or maybe it was Jamie 34. It's been so long. I'm really not sure anymore.
Oh, okay.
Right. But
Oh, okay.
like I actually said to you, back then I was just nobody. Like there was nothing interesting about me. And then
Right,
about 5 years ago, I had a stroke, and
right.
that totally refocused me and my direction and my art. And I feel that I'm a lot more confident than I used to be, and like I know exactly what I want to do with my art and everything. And before everything would just come out like a mess because I'd be indecisive. I wouldn't know what to do. I'm sure you can relate to that. You know, we've all had that feeling. I'm sure.
Yeah,
But I say after the stroke, it really refocused me and really woke me up to the thing like, hey, you only live once, just do it. You know.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you remember me from there, I was taking on commissions. Uh, I wasn't 100% confident in my art per se. um, but I got a lot of people to commission me there, which is what it was a great art community, and it taught me a lot. I'm still majority inking projects, but I'm trying to push myself more into doing my own art, because one day, probably I'm going to release the first issue of my book Retro. The first issue was penciled by a friend of mine, Rich Fuchsia, but issue two on, I'm going to be doing the full art. And, I really want to do 100 issues if I have that amount of time on the world. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Cricket Painter is with us.
Yeah, welcome
Um,
aboard.
and yeah, so I'm doing these little pieces. I just did a Nightwing, which I'll ink soon. I did a Captain America after Jack Kirby not too long ago, which I sold that piece. I did a bunch of things, a bunch of 11 by 17 illustrations for a Sword and Sorcery Magazine.com is a site. They essentially do short stories, and they put together a book collection. So I got to do 4 illustrations for that. Um, and yeah, I'll have to do a lot more going forward, as my schedule allows, of course. But yeah, you just got to commit to it and go for it.
Now, how long have you actually been penciling? Like, I know you can do the inking thing, but is penciling new to you, or is it
it's
something you've always done?
it's something, like I've always drawn. I've drawn since I was 5 years old,
Right,
but it's like a little here, a little there. I've done a few covers. I've done pinups. I got into like the trading cards, the little cards of art. I've done commissions, but it's been an on and off thing. It hasn't been really consistent.
right,
I always fall back on inking because that's what I know best, and that's
right.
that's where my skill is. Yeah,
Good old reliable. I understand.
yeah, yeah. Um, so you got a lot of things going on. So let the people know, like what do you got going on right now with your work?
Well, I just released my sixth issue of my self-published comic, which is called Papa Balloon and Cactus, and
Right.
it's about basically just a balloon and cactus character just having misadventures and stuff. Now they were on Earth for the first five issues, but now they're like in a strange new world where the balloon came from. He had lost his memory, and it just came back to him at the end of last issue, and it turns out he's like a complete like Republican, I guess you'd say. Like he's just like a monster of a human being, or as close as a balloon gets to being a human being. And the more you learn, the more you see that this comic is actually a Star Wars parody, but it's very like a light parody.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah.
You showed me like you're going to be doing your first convention. Let the people know about that.
Oh yeah, that's the Hershey Comic Con. It's July 11th. Now this is my first time like ever going to a convention, so I'm going all out. I'm going to try to make it all about the fans, and whatever happens with the money, I don't care. As you can see, I've got a cactus back here. I'm going to have that on my table, so that'll stand out. I've got little candies with like a little self promotion thing, and then like on the back it says Papa Balloon and Cactus, and it has a picture of the sixth cover on the front. So
Right. Um, would you say it's an all ages book, your book, or it's
it's a little bit edging over to the dark side, pardon the Star Wars fun. Like that, there's like there'll be once in a while there'll be like a drug reference or a little thing like that. But like I kind of like avoid like swearing and nudity and stuff like that. But there has
right?
been some scatological humor, which really isn't that appropriate.
I only say that because like if you're doing a convention and have balloons and candy for kids,
Right?
you
Yeah,
know,
that's
they, they might think your book is all ages or something.
yeah, for sure. I would avoid any confusion with people.
Yeah. So so yeah, talk about your art and your book and like let's get
Well,
into it.
let me start with the stroke part.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
when I had my stroke, like this is my drawing hand, but when I
Right.
had my stroke, this hand was like no longer worked. I couldn't
Mm,
draw, I couldn't write my name, any of that stuff.
yeah.
And I only learned that because they gave me a test and they're like, draw a box, and I couldn't draw a box. And that really woke me up as to how bad my situation was. And
Right.
I swore to myself, like I'd been working at like Walmart for like 15 years before that, just drawing as a hobby. And I swore if I regained that ability to draw and everything, I would dedicate myself to actually drawing, no matter what, and make it my thing instead of just instead of just a hobby. So after a few months of rehab, obviously I regained, all this stuff. But after about 9 months, I had a stroke on this hand, and that never recovered.
Mm,
So that's actually why I draw digitally. Now, our mutual friend, Richard Friend, he actually told me exactly what they use at DC to draw digitally when, on like typically. And so I use Clip Studio. I've got a nice little computer, everything set up. I didn't have a computer for like 10 years before that. So,
Right.
you know, it was all new to me, you know, and I'm still kind of a Luddite, you know. The only thing I use is the drawing function on the computer. Everything else that I could possibly do, it just kind of sits there. So then I don't learn it really. Everything I do on my phone, I just, you know, I still use the phone.
Right.
So yeah, after the rehab and everything, you know, I got better and everything, and I was doing I was gonna do prints for a little bit there, and then the second stroke happened. That was in June, I think it was, and then I was like, I can't draw because you need both hands to really do a page properly. But I find that the going digital really makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have a friend who actually, you know, I'm working on a graphic novel called Faction Paradox, and my friend Les is the penciler. Now he had a stroke and he lost the ability in his hands, but he's been physical therapy and all that.
Right.
Um, but he, you know, he's doing his stuff digitally. Um, but he has like, you know, some controls on the program are controlled via foot pedals and
Oh
stuff.
wow.
Like, yeah, like his studio's like to the max. It's like insane. Um, but he, you know, he's insanely fast, insanely great artist. Yeah, it's like no matter your shortcomings or what you've been through, you can find a way. Like, you know,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
And
Um,
I'm sure it's different for all people. You know, you never know their situation. Strikes
right.
hit everybody differently. It sounds like his might have been more intense than mine, even because of the battles. But yeah, that's pretty amazing that he found a way.
Yeah, yeah. I think part of it is like just what's easiest for him. I mean, because he's like super fast and he's focused on being fast. You know, so I think any shortcuts he can create, however he creates them, you know, he goes for it. Um,
Yeah, that is pretty motivating, really.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, but yeah, so I figured like for Friday the 13th, this is um, imagine for this piece. You know, like interrogation, like how like in movies they have the overhead light and it's like the people in the room are like mostly in shadow. So she's got a little light here, and then this arm is sort of in light, and this shoulder and this part of the hand, and her like nose and upper lips on the side and stuff, but like mostly in shadow. Um, it's going to be a lot of work, and you know I'll just play with it on the side. But you know, like I said before, it thought it'd be a neat challenge, um, for sure, and fitting of Friday the 13th. We figured, you know, not necessarily doing a creature, but it's
Right.
something moody.
Yeah. I was gonna say, it's a very much a mood piece.
Yeah. Um, so what inspired your comic? Like
Well,
where
I
besides
actually
Star Wars, like
Well, yeah, that's only one issue that has the Star Wars parody.
all
Before
right,
that, it's completely different. I
right,
actually created these characters like I think in 2010, and I actually
yeah,
did it. I did it actually even before that, but I published a comic in 2010. But it was like so much work at the same time as working as I was working at Walmart, and it was like having a second job and not getting paid for it, you know. So I was just like, this isn't for me. I'll just go do it as a hobby. But that's where all the characters came from, or the central characters at least, like the balloon and the cactus, and they were actually born. Well, the balloon was actually born at a comic store that I was hanging out at, and we would draw comics back and forth, and it was so sloppy. It was just silly and fun, and
Right.
there was like a blob on a computer screen, and my friend joked, "Ah, that looks like a cactus more than a person." And then I was like, "Well, that's what he is, and that's actually where he was born."
Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm originally from New York. I'm out in Kentucky now, but
Right.
at one point I had two day jobs. Well, like one day job and one sort of evening job. And the evening job was working at a law firm. It was mostly like handling faxes coming in or going out, or and scanning documents. Like scan like 300-page documents going out
Right.
and sent them out. But there was a lot of downtime, and it was a group of us, maybe 8 or 9 people working there, and so I would start doodling, and I don't know exactly, but I started making a strip. It was originally just going to be some cute cats or whatever, but then they became human, and then it became very sexual. and 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 one of my friends there collected all the strips. Like he kept them for himself.
Nice.
Uh, but they got passed around, and everybody loved it.
Yeah, that reminds me of how it was in high school, passing around stuff, drawing for people and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's I always loved comics and art and all that. Did you grow up reading comics?
Oh yeah, my first comic was Top Dog number 10 from Star Comics. And it was
Right,
do you remember that book at all,
little
or do you
bit, little bit.
okay, well it was a kid's comic. Like
Right.
before that I had read a GI Joe and I hated it. Like I was too young and it was
Yeah.
just so boring and like so wordy. And years later, obviously I came around on GI Joe, but I had to find something my own speed, and that was Top Dog. And it was a very interesting issue because well, first Warren Kramer, he drew that issue, and he went on to have a stroke too. So there's that little tie in there. And
Mhm.
besides that, though, there was actually a guest appearance by Spider-Man in that issue, and
Oh,
and the scenes with Spider-Man were drawn by John Romita. So my
oh,
first comic was actually partially drawn by John Romita. That's a pretty cool way to start.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I forget the name of the writer, but the guy who wrote it went on to be an editor at Penthouse Comics, ended up embezzling funds, like getting addicted to cocaine and killing himself in front of a bunch of people. And
Oh,
like according to Wikipedia, like a lot of those people were like in therapy for years because it was so gruesome.
oh man.
Yeah. So do you remember your first book that you read growing up?
Well, I mean, we had. I always read like comics. Yeah, comic strips in newspapers because my
Oh,
father.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
We also, in fact, I probably even started there. Really, if you think
yeah,
about it.
yeah. But the first actual comics I came across and I remember it happening, but I don't remember it as the first thing. But my brother reminded me. Essentially, we had a barber near us, and he had magazines for all the people waiting to get their haircut and whatnot. Um, and for kids, he had a stack of comic books, and so he had stuff like Richie Rich and Archie and stuff like that. So those essentially were the first comics we came across.
Right.
um, but yeah, I mean, like I grew up really loving Marvel comics. I was a fan of some of the stuff at DC too. Read some of that, um, but also a lot of independent titles. Later on, we went to a lot of conventions, and we meet creators and just get into a whole bunch of different things. Back before the internet, the only way to explore other books and whatnot out there was to go to the comic conventions.
Right.
And my cat wants out, so 1 second.
No problem. Well, so far so good.
Thanks. It's a nice day. He should go out and enjoy the weather. But yeah, just always sort of drawing. I really didn't take it seriously. Like, even though I went to art school, I still consider myself self-taught. And like I tell this story a million times already, but essentially, my brother called me up one day. I was working a day job, 9 to 5, 5 days a week. And he called me up. He's like, a friend of mine is working on Ghost Rider, and he needs to get, an issue done over the weekend. So we're going up to Marvel tonight. If you want to come and, fill in some blacks and make a couple of bucks. So that was when Mark Texiera was working on the book. Right. And he barely had anything done. And so he was there. He was penciling pages. Jimmy was inking figures. This other guy, Ken, was there. Ken Branch was inking backgrounds, and I was filling in blacks. Right. And we were just tossing pages around. And we were all working in the Marvel build pen, so where they had all art tables set up anyway.
Do you remember what issue it was? I'd like to.
I wish I would have to like really examine each and every issue.
I can Google it. I'll figure it out. But yeah, I could see you guys working really well with text because you guys are so organic, and his style is super organic. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was drinking coffee and eating donuts and just going insane pencil pages.
I bet.
I think we finished half an issue that night.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. But that was my introduction. It was only 10 minutes of that with all these guys working on comic pages, also being in the bullpen. No one else was there. I was looking around the office, all the editorial offices, all the chaos of the bullpen was, essentially production. Posters on the wall of all the Marvel characters. I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And like, I was never that committed about anything in my life. And I've been this committed since then, about comics and what I do. It's just, it's just so much fun and a blast. And, like, I'm not great at the business side of the thing, otherwise I'll be world famous, but
no, I totally get you.
I've gotten better over the years, a little bit.
No, I'm with you, but I've gotten very lucky with connections and stuff. Like, I've had Dave Sim do 3 covers for my book. I've had Richard Friend actually do 2 covers for my book. And I don't know if you know Sam J. Royale. He's a small timer, but he's really good. He did the first 2. But now I'm doing my own covers. I feel more comfortable than when I started out. Like, I was like a terrible colorist at first. But now I was really good right before that too, before I had the stroke. But that was traditional colors, so it's not really the same thing. But now I feel like I'm back to where I was, and I'm throwing out great stuff.
That's so good. That's so good. Yeah, I mean, like, you had is it Doug Wheatley do something?
No, actually it was Mark Wheatley from Inside Studios.
Mark Wheatley.
Yeah.
But he's insanely good.
For sure, yeah. Like, I've met them a couple. I've been going to the Baltimore Comic Con the past couple of years. Like, before that, I wasn't going to any conventions. So, but yeah, they're both great guys. I love their stuff. I love hanging out with those guys.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm impressed, like the people you've had work on it, and like since we're all old friends from DeviantArt, and never even asked me, but that's okay.
I, if you wanna come in, it's always a paid gig for everybody. So like, I make sure everybody gets paid. I can't pay much,
Right,
I'm
right.
small potatoes, but everybody gets $50 per page they work on, and
Yeah,
but with a limit of 4 pages per issue for budgets.
yeah, no, for sure. Like I'm always about like I've worked for the big two, but most of my career has been working with mostly individuals and whatnot, and I go with their budget. I don't necessarily ask my top dollar. Like,
Right. Yeah. Well, everybody's like kind of slumming it on my book.
yeah, yeah,
Actually, when I was talking to Mark at the one convention, I told him my page raise, and he's like, "Well, that's better than Boom Base."
yeah. There you go. Like some companies that do not pay well.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a
I
shame,
won't
really.
name any names, but
No, that's fair. But yeah, I like to be a place people can turn to when they've got like a situation. And usually
yeah,
when I see people on Facebook saying, "Oh my God, I'm struggling right now," I'm having a bad winter, I can't afford my wood stove, I can't afford to buy wood or whatever. I'll sometimes say, "Hey, I've got a paying gig for you. You can do basically literally anything you want, and I'll give you 4 pages to do anything, and here's $200 for it."
yeah. Well, I mean, like, not for nothing, but I am in a situation. Um, you
Oh,
know,
well, you're hired.
um, I mean, yeah, it's I, I wish, like I was really spoiled when I was working, like at DC. I started at DC working on Aquaman, and I did a couple of pages here and there for Marvel before that, but it wasn't anything consistent. It just a couple of pages. Um, then Aquaman was the first kind of regular gig, even though we were the fill-in team initially, and then we became the regular team, and then they actually signed a 1-year contract to be on the book,
Right.
and then it went off to a different team. But I worked on like 24 issues of that. Um,
Well, not a
it's a
lot of
hell of
people
a lot
could
of
say
work.
that, though.
Yeah, it's a hell of a lot of work, and uh, I I do know I'm not necessarily a monthly guy. I'm far too critical in my work and slow.
Yeah, I
But
got you.
it was a great experience. And then Marvel was like all sorts of a lot of X-Men books, related books. They had like at least a dozen at the time back in the 90s.
Was this
And
post Claremont, I assume?
um did he work on it? I remember working Uncanny X-Men 360
Okay, okay, I got you.
was the only actual X-Men book. Everything else was Gambit, Cable,
Like side
Alpha
characters.
Flight, yeah, all the uh, side books. But it was like here's 2 pages, here's 3 pages. I need these overnight. A couple of times I worked in the bullpen inking pages. It was insane. But enough about me. I always fall back to me. What's going on?
I've been. I'm sorry to turn it back to you in a way, kind of here, but a lot of your recent guests are people I'm working with right now, like
Yeah,
Ben Ferrari, Kurt Belcher. We're actually working together on Kanin the Marauder. So I've
yeah,
got an upcoming issue where I do all the art. I did a recent issue where I did like just 6 pages, just a little short, like trippy story, but yeah, they're really good guys. I feel like working with them really was a different experience because I always work solo, despite having all these side people working on my book and stuff. But working with them kind of forced me to reevaluate my approach and draw differently than I normally draw, and I think it's affected my book as well.
um, I did a couple of pages. Yeah, it is like that. That's about all the Gambit I did. I did do a back in the day. Billy Tucci did something called Battle Books, I think it was called.
Yeah, I've seen some of
Um,
those. Yeah,
yeah, and I did. I inked him on one of the covers, and that was Gambit. So that's my experience with Gambit. Not much. Um, but okay, so I'm curious, like how long do you see yourself working on your own book? Do you have sort of a goal with it?
my goal is just to basically die doing it someday. So,
Oh, okay,
right.
excellent. I love hearing it.
Well, there's a morbidity to my approach. So,
But yeah, I mean, because independent comics, it's a hard thing, and it's like the industry is always going through changes, and it's hard to keep up with everything. Um,
I'm just glad I didn't end up at Diamond because that sure fell apart fast. I feel bad for a lot of my friends who just got in there.
yeah, yeah. Um, but what was I gonna say? Yeah, oh yeah, like there's so many uh creators, like that individuals that band together and form their own publishing company, or just individually putting out books, and some
Right,
people, like they're lucky if they put out one book.
for
You
sure.
already got a batch of books out, so that's so cool.
I remember something Dave Sims said to me once that when I first published my first comic, like in 2010, he was saying you're actually in a very very small percentage of human beings on this planet just for having one comic because there's so many people that say they're going to do it and they never do it.
Yeah, no, that's so true. I mean, it's a big commitment. I mean, it looks easy, like most things. It looks easy from the outside,
Right.
but it's a lot of work, and definitely, like
I definitely learned something new every issue. Like, man, I could have approached this way differently. And like being digital, I never really even considered zooming in, like on like getting your details down. It's like, what's the point of having a computer if you can't zoom in? Just stop trying to do everything the way you were doing it and just do it the way you can do it.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's for sure. Just don't overdo it.
Oh, oh yeah.
As an
Uh,
inker, I've I'm only experiencing it now. Um, but I mean, I turned down one job I really, 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 really wanted to do. A good friend of mine had a full book penciled, and I was like 1,000% into doing it until he showed me the pages, and it's like, I can't do this. It's literally impossible, like
right,
for a traditional artist, because I still, like, regardless of how it's created, I still ink it traditionally,
right.
and everything was super tiny. It was like I need a lens, a
Like,
special lens to look at it.
it's like I didn't sign up to work with Jeff Darrow.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, though I actually have glaucoma, so it's really like I'm adding details that I would add like normally, like if my eyes worked. So it's really not that detailed, really.
Right. No, I've seen plenty of your work, and it's just fun. It's
Right.
it's like
Thank you.
it's almost like, what was the magazine, Saturday Evening Post, like cover art ish style sometimes. Like how I see it. It's very old school cartoon look to it. You know.
Well, thank you. That's a
I,
nice high praise.
yeah, I really enjoy it.
Thanks.
So you showed me something just before we started streaming. Was that something, you know?
That's actually going to be a page for the Kanin book.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
I spent like about 12 hours doing that framing sequence,
yeah.
and then I just started filling in the middle part.
It looked really good. I didn't look at it closely, but it looked like a lot of work. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I was kind of just setting it to break the ice, like, oh, yo, it's getting close to the 4 o'clock, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I usually go on, start 5 minutes before.
Right.
Um, but yeah, looks really good, and definitely, Ben and Kurt. I'm gonna attempt at least to do a story for Must Punch the Zombies, Nazis.
Nazis. Yeah, yeah. I know the book you meant.
Yeah. Because yeah, and like talking with Ben and Kurt, um, definitely like I like what they're doing. I like how they're approaching it. I've known Kurt like is one of the few people I specifically remember from DeviantArt.
Yeah, me too. I knew him
Yeah,
back when I knew you, and I met Richard there too. So there's a lot of connections in that place.
yeah. I mean, Kurt has always been that guy doing a million pages a
Yeah,
week.
for
Yeah,
sure. He's like
yeah,
the marathon man, you know.
yeah. And I always loved his work, and I always wanted to ink him, and maybe one day we'll do something. Um, but yeah, I just love his work and his approach, and Ben is newer to me, but
Me too.
he's definitely has a unique style, and it's a lot of fun, and yeah, like he definitely he has more of a business sense of him, and approach, and like he's getting the books
That is
done.
important for that. That
Yeah,
is a bit important for guys like us, you know.
yeah, yeah. We're only given so many times to screw up, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, I do like doing the self-publishing thing. Like Dave Sim was like as a kid, I even gave a speech about him being my hero in my high school. So like
Right.
I like taking that approach.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know how they
Right.
say you don't get into comics to get rich. Well, I don't plan on getting rich. So
No, no, but if you can earn a good living, that's good enough,
yeah,
Like
exactly.
I definitely think a lot more people deserve to be making better money, and there is a way. I got to figure it out for myself first before I spread the word.
Fair enough. Like I said, I'm only doing my first show in July, like I said. So like
Yeah.
I'm a lot farther behind than I should be. So
Well, it's conventions are fun. Like, I've done a whole bunch. I was never like a real like I go and do 8 conventions a year, but being like back when I was in New York, there a lot nearby, so I would go often, um, and it's a lot of fun. Sometimes you really have to push yourself to sell because some conventions can be slow. Um, but hey, it says Kickstarter comics are dying. I don't believe that.
yeah, maybe I've had nothing but successful campaigns there.
Yeah, I know it's more challenging at the moment, but the economy overall is more challenging.
Yeah, it's more like the American dream is dying, not Kickstarter.
Yeah, yeah. Um, you know, someone was saying, in regards to Kickstarter, that they're really pushing the bigger campaigns, the bigger companies on Kickstarter and all that. That kind of makes sense. I mean, Kickstarter is a company and they need to succeed.
Right.
So it makes sense that they would push the big ones. But if you're a little guy, you could still get your audience to, you know, just wait. Too many hacks, too much garbage. You know.
Hey, the cream rises to the top. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, yeah. So you know, um, it's all about being in touch with your friends, being in touch with your audience, and like these sites will come and go, crash and burn. New ones will pop up, you know, whatever. Like, you know, I was a part of MySpace. Where's that now?
That's very true. Very true. And yeah, I actually wrote an essay recently, I'd say about 6 months ago, where I criticized books with like those pornographic covers and like cheesecake girls on the very cover. It's like I don't trust what's inside your book because you're going for a cheap pop there, you know. And apparently, I offended somebody, and they passively aggressively wrote like a status on their Facebook saying, apparently somebody doesn't like these covers. Apparently they don't enjoy life or something. It's like, no, it's like you can do what you want, but I'm telling you, like, I personally don't trust your book for doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's all taste. I mean, I grew up, you know, collecting, you know, heavy metal,
Oh, that's a
and
whole
and
different thing.
that's 100% gratuitous. But
For sure, like Druna, but look at Druna. It's very high quality and well drawn.
yeah, 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 for sure. You know, um, uh, but yeah, you know, it's because like I like I like anything that's well done. You know, when it comes
For
down to it,
sure.
like you know, like regardless of what you're doing, I do know like a lot more people have been pushing, you know, topless women on covers and whatnot just to sell another 10, 15 issues or whatever. Um, and it works. That's the thing. It
Yeah, for
works.
sure.
People will continue to do it. But yeah, some companies, some publishers are run entirely like that. But I always look, okay, you know, you go to the Kickstarter page, um, nice cover. I disregard the cover. I go directly to the pages. Do I like the pages? Because that's what matters. The meat, not the cover, but
Yeah,
the
for
meat of the
sure.
book. Yeah.
No, you
So
definitely have a good point.
yeah. Um,
But like they say, don't judge a book by its cover, but I guess I'm guilty of that myself. So.
well, yeah. I mean, like you know, I usually try to buy the interior artists unless I'm really, you know, blown over by maybe one of the alternate artist covers.
Right.
Um, but yeah, usually I wanna, you know, support the interior artists because you know I want to see them doing more work, more than you know fly by night cover artists. Yeah, I'll put it on the board. Yeah. Cake covers are just to start $15 books and shipping, and the creators are says wait until issue 5 for this story to get popping.
That's kind of true, but I
Yeah,
gotta tell you that like it is really expensive to print books.
yeah. I mean, you know, like costs are definitely going up. The cheapest book isn't so cheap anymore. $15 book is different. Like, what's the average? 5 or thereabouts. Um, $15 book. Like, I know a lot of people are thinking, let's not do floppies. Let's do a thick book, and that makes sense to a degree. But yeah, if I'm waiting to issue 5 for the story to make sense or pop off, as he says, um, that's too long. Like you know, I don't need a like. I remember a lot of Marvel books, like number ones, used to tell the full story, right? You used to get Spider-Man's origin, Fantastic Four's
Exactly.
origin, you know.
In fact, his origin
Uh,
was only really like what 11 pages, really.
yeah, yeah, like the Hulk or whatever, you know. Um, I don't. go with that theory. Like with retro, I do plan to get to his origin, but later.
Kind of like the patch with the New World stuff.
Yeah, I want to sort of find his language, like and his universe, both as his human self and as his superhero self. So like I'm exploring it as much as the reader is as I see it. That's how I'm approaching writing, creating my book.
Right.
Hopefully it works for people. Like, I could be wrong.
I could see that working. I mean, look at Madman. You don't learn anything about the guy for like forever,
Yeah,
and you're just captivated. Does the origin really matter right away?
right, right. I love Man. That was a great book.
Oh yeah, I've probably only read about 12 issues in a row at the beginning, but
Right.
I love the stuff that I was reading.
Yeah. Mike Overett, he's so good and talented.
Yeah,
Uh,
actually, my friend Jerk, Jerk Comics, he is
yeah.
another. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's actually worked on my book as well. But he also was actually flown out to Mike's house because he's so informed, and basically that they basically requested him to work on their documentary about Mike.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Speaking of Jerk Comics, he also he wrote an article in my comic. Like I also hire writers to just do their thing. That's fine too. Like
Awesome.
and he wrote about Jack Kirby working for the Superpowers action figures. Like I guess that would be like the very early 80s or maybe late 70s. And I
Okay.
guess somebody at DC arranged it in such a way that Jack Kirby actually finally got a huge payoff for that. So that's really cool. And Dave Sim read the article and said it was the best article about Jack Kirby he had ever read by anybody. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, upcoming I
Yeah.
have Jeff Marriott and Joel Meadows are going to be writing soon. So
All right. That's
oh yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah. I already have an all literature issue because that's a lot of writers.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I definitely had a really good time with your comics. Um,
Oh, that's
he's a
right. He was
really
on your channel, wasn't he? I forgot about
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Another recent guest. I got to pull back on guests and get work done. But
I hear you. Like you haven't even started inking yet, have you?
no, I mean I didn't plan to ink it today.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm very lightly sort of yeah, let's see if I can. I'm sort of like throwing down some lines and just sort of giving myself a blueprint to maybe follow once I do start inking.
Are you pretty exact so that like when you're inking, you don't have to like make like sort of like decisions and stuff?
Well, I'll at least have a sort of flow to what I'm going to be doing, um, because I know myself. If I'm not given enough direction with a penciler, I go a little heavy. So me as an artist inking myself, I'm trying to actually pencil more, put more pencil down because I used to leave it too open ended, uh,
Right.
and my skill is more embellishing than creating in ink.
Oh, that's fair.
Although I am, I could do a Sienkiewicz and throw stuff down and it looks amazing, but
Right.
I that's not the artist I want to be. I was thinking about this recently. It's like I want to be more like John Byrne, not Sienkiewicz. And Sienkiewicz is wild and out there, and I
Right.
totally appreciate and he's great at what he does.
Or yeah,
You know,
maybe the early Sienkiewicz, not the late
yeah,
Sienkiewicz.
yeah. He was more like Neil Adams in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's like art is a thing. You can approach it 100 different ways, and always be learning and exploring and improving.
Yeah, for
But yeah,
sure.
in the back of my head, I think John Byrne, I think George Perez, Dave Cochran, like, a lot of the early guys, um, who had solid footing, solid storytelling, solid figure work and whatnot. Um, and then throw on top of that somebody like Bat, or like the Image Inkers, like, who went crazy with the
Well,
detail.
like I'd say that, like, I worked with Richard Friend, obviously,
Yeah,
and like he is like so much needs like direction on everything. Like he like wanted like characters like layouts and stuff so that he could get it as exact as possible. And it's like,
right.
dude, my book's all about just doing your own thing, just going crazy,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I could see that Rich, wanting a full research.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
let me look at his style. There's nothing like him. In
yeah.
fact, I have him right here. Like I don't know if you know this book, but this was a
Yeah.
San
Wildcat.
Diego Comic Con exclusive. It actually
Oh,
features Travis Charest's pencils. Like here's the
oh, okay.
all this way, I guess, because uh, but
Nice.
but if you can get a copy, just go on eBay and find a copy. But like,
Right.
there's nothing like it, and like studying that work. And at the time that this was scanned and everything, like Richard was kind of inking a little bit, so you get to see a little bit of his approach on what he was going to do to the whole book, basically.
Yeah. No, Rich is great.
Oh, for sure.
It's like, I know you've been on the channel, and also another artist, Kelsey, and
Oh
uh,
yeah.
he's had some other people, but like his just going over comics and art is eternally fascinating and informative, and like, he's great. He's
Oh,
great.
for sure. They're very educated, and him and Kelsey were just a great team. They just had a good chemistry for the show.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. So, what's your plans for the remainder of the year, you think?
For the remainder of the year, you say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, for what's left of the year. I mean, which is most of it.
I plan to just keep drawing because last year I had a heart attack, and that really
Right.
that laid me up for like 6 months and put me behind schedule and everything. So this year I hope to release at least three more books, whereas last year I think I only did one. So
Oh, well, that's a lot of books.
yeah,
Um,
if the pros could have done 12 in a year, I can manage four. I'm a
cool.
really fast artist too. Like wouldn't have the patience to draw as long as you're drawing, like this
Right.
piece here. I'd want to get right into the inking really bad.
Well, this I plan. Like I said, it's going to be a highly detailed piece.
Right.
That will probably, in hours, take me a week. Like I'm just going to do this on the side, and it's something I envision, much like Richard Friend's his black pieces.
Those
Like,
are insane. That was
yeah,
like what,
like
36 hours, I think he
yeah,
said.
like um not necessarily the amount of detail, but the amount of effort put into a piece. Like that's what I envision for this.
For sure. I got
Um
you.
so so I'm not rushing it at all.
Fair enough. Hey, there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's, they say.
If you're hungry, you're hungry.
Exactly.
Um but way cool, way cool. Would you say so? Like, what are your artistic influences as far as how you approach things?
Well, I'd say Travis Charest is number one. Like right now, I'm really studying his work. Obviously,
Yeah,
I just love that really crisp line he used to have. Like I don't so much care for his more recent stuff, but when he was on top, ooh, that was good stuff. And let me look at my wall here. I've got a nice Mort Meskin book here. I got a Gary Gianni book over here. Harvey Kurtzman. Charles Vest. I actually met Charles Vest last year. Yeah, he's a really good guy. I've got a
yeah,
Sam Keith, Wally Wood. All the classics.
yeah, yeah. Um, I met Charles. Might have been might have been sometime in the 90s. Always loved his work.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
Spirits of the Earth is beautiful.
it's he was always like, even when he was doing more comic work, his approach is, it looks like, it always looks like fine art, whatever he
Yeah,
had.
I used to
Yeah,
always confuse him and Michael Kaluta because they both seem to have like a children's illustrator influence on their work.
yeah, yeah. Another artist I love. Mike actually got to meet Mike in person at his home.
Oh, nice.
Uh, he did a friend of mine's, cover for his book, and so he was returning the art. Um, and he was like, "You want to tag along?" I was like, "Do I want to tag along?" Yes.
Yeah, I think
uh,
we'd all want to go there.
yeah. Oh, it was amazing. It was like, like some of his cover illustrations where it's just full from top to bottom, left to right of stuff. That was his home. Like,
Man,
his studio. It was like, this is like beyond Disney.
I bet that sounds like a almost like a paradise, really, for us creators.
Oh yeah, and he was so nice and kind and sweet, and
All right. Yeah, I went to the convention with my sister, who doesn't even read comics. She couldn't even
yeah.
name anybody. In fact, she introduced herself to Mark Wade's assistant, thinking he was Mark Wade. I remember that. That was pretty funny. But she was totally sold. She even bought a Charles Vest print. So
Nice, nice, nice.
the other one she liked was Mark Hamill. She loves his stuff.
Yeah.
Have you seen his commissions at all, or
Um, Maybe not. I'm not
I have
sure.
one. I have one behind me. Let me just grab that real quick and just show
Oh,
you the
sure,
kind of.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Um, yeah, I mean, like, I like more artists than not. Like, I always feel like I can learn from anybody.
Right.
So it's always, it's great to meet them at conventions. I don't always feel the need to walk up and say something to everyone. Um, but I did meet Adam Hughes. Was at his table and alone. I was like, Jesus, nobody's here at Adam Hughes' table. I'm gonna go say hello.
Yeah, it's like what the heck? Like there's so many legends that just kind of seem like I met Eddie Campbell and there was like nobody at his booth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but check this
nice.
out. Yeah, that they got his style for everything is this really dark approach to everything. He's got a ton of pieces at his booth like that.
Yeah. Oh,
But that
cool.
that one had the Alfred E. Newman. I just had to get that one.
So I know me, it's like I'm way too busy to be reading anything.
Yeah, I'm not reading
Um,
anything new except for things that my friends publish.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's essentially, if I buy any books, it's usually a Kickstarter or some crowdfunding campaign.
Right. Like I'm reading there's a guy named Jeff Manley, you might not know him. He does Riley the Teenage Bigfoot. it's like the funniest comic I've ever read. Like he's got a natural sense of humor, and like everything I've ever read by him has cracked me up. But it's basically just like stoner humor. You know, it's
Right.
nothing. You can't really expect much from it as far as the actual story content goes. But everything is a crack up.
I think I've seen it around. Yeah.
Okay, cool, great.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's like, more often than not, I have to catch up on books I have on my list. It's like when I have money, then I'll get like 3 or 4 of your books in once.
No, I totally hear you. Mostly, I've been reading about comics more than actually reading the comics themselves.
Right, right. Yeah. I mean, um, it's just part of the business. It's like I may not be reading any comics, or like I used to read a lot of novels. I'm not reading any novels currently, but I'm reading everything online. Like, you know,
Pretty much, yeah. Look up quack.info. Have you heard of that site?
what's it called?
Quack, KWAKK.info. They actually
No.
have 10,000 comic book magazines on there. And like
All
the
right.
only way to look up the things is with a search bar. You can't just bootleg their magazines. You gotta specifically look for what you're looking for. It's made for basically for comics researchers.
Oh, okay. No, I never
Yeah,
heard of that.
like all of the comic, every single issue of the Comics Journal is on there, but
Oh yeah.
you can only look at like 6 pages at a time because they offer a subscription service. You know, so
Right.
instead of ripping them off, the guy puts limits on certain books.
Oh,
Like
really interesting.
yeah, you won't find anything from Tomorrow's because obviously they're still going. But all of the defunct wonderful magazines from the old days, you'll definitely find it there. And you can search your own name and you'll find like 50 articles about yourself that you never knew about. So that's kind of fun.
I don't think there's 50 articles about me.
Hey, you never know. You never know.
um,
Like
but
if you ever even wrote like a letter to a magazine, it registers that as your name is there, so it comes up. Anything, any listings for comic conventions, if your name's been used, it shows up too.
I do know, like, well, number one, that most of the information, well, not most, but there is a lot of information about what I worked on online that is incorrect. um, I used to have a copy of everything I worked on, but when I moved from New York to Kentucky, I gave it all away. So I I was attempting early on to create a master list, but then I gave up on that. So
Right.
I worked on a lot of stuff, but I want people to know me for what I'm doing now.
I
Um,
hear you. I have not worked on more than 12 projects, and I couldn't tell you what I've worked on. So I can
oh
only
yeah,
imagine, just your DC alone,
yeah, yeah. I don't remember like issue numbers or like It's like I remember the first issue of Aquaman because it's burned into my brain.
for sure.
Um,
I'd imagine.
it's like I worked on Razor back in the '90s. I worked on uh, Valentine with my friend Dan Cooney. Um, yeah, it's like a bunch of random stuff, and I really have to think about it to go into more detail.
Yeah,
uh,
I can only imagine, man.
yeah, yeah. But this has been fun. Like, anything you want to promote, like I'll add some links down below. Any links you want me to
Well,
throw
yeah, just
down?
for now, I'd say just if you're in the Hershey area, just keep the upcoming convention July 11th, and I think I know and the 12th as well. Just keep it in mind. Come on by. I'll be giving away all sorts of stuff. I'm willing to haggle with anybody. So
Just look for the cactus.
Oh yeah, look for the that cactus, you know.
Awesome. Well, this has been fun. Glad you came on today. All
Likewise,
right,
yeah, it's
everybody.
been very good.
Yeah. Make sure to like, comment below. Let me know what you're up to, what you're working on. I'm sure most people who follow me are artists or comic artists or they're the like. So I always like to see what other people are up to.
Right. And we have
Uh,
so many mutuals. Like anybody who wants to find anything can just ask any of us. So
yes,
we're
yes.
all in the same circle.
Yep, yep. It's a small world out there. All right,
Absolutely.
everybody, keep making art, keep making comics, and I'll see you again next week. Till then,